Hey, what's up, classic TV fans? My name is Rick9G. Thank you so much for joining me today. We're going to be talking about The Twilight Zone. I want to thank all of you for supporting the channel and especially for supporting the last video I made on The Twilight Zone, focusing on the episode, Will the Real Martian Please Stand Up? It's a great one, so don't miss it. Also know I have a Twilight Zone playlist where you can see more videos on the Twilight Zone and other playlists on other classic TV shows and movies as well. Today we're going to be talking about the After Hours. That is, in fact, a very creepy episode, and we're going to talk a little bit about it, and more specifically about the insurmountable challenge that they had. It literally could have made or broken the episode in regards to if they didn't get it right, it would have completely failed. Now, many would say that this is one of the better or even one of the best Twilight Zone episodes, up there, definitely on the top list. Let me know how you rate this episode, what you think about it, and there will be spoilers. So I am telling you right now, pretty much every single Twilight Zone episode has like a twist or just something very surprising. So if you haven't seen this, go do yourself a favor, watch it, grab some popcorn, and then come back to this video so that it won't be spoiled for you. So let's get right to it. This episode is focused on the character of Marcia White, who is played by the amazing and equally beautiful Anne Francis. She is just stunning to look at, and let me tell you, her acting chops are superb. She would either make or break this episode with her performance, but that's not exactly what I'm alluding to, but let me tell you, that's how good she was in this. Now, Marcia White was at a department store looking for one golden thimble. You know, those things that go on your thumb when you're trying to sew to protect you. Things that we don't really use now, but just something of that time. Now, she's told that she needs to go to the 9th floor. Now, when she gets out of the elevator, she notices something strange. It's definitely a barren floor with everything is pretty empty. All the shelves, all the showcases. There's no one even really there. It's kind of creepy, and the only person there is this woman, this elegantly dressed woman, and it's the only item in the entire floor. So that is creepy enough, and she begins to wonder what is going on. Now, this woman in fact sells her that golden thimble, and she leaves the 9th floor going to the main floor, and she notices that the thimble is scratched, and she goes to complain and wants to get her money back. But when she tells them that she went to the 9th floor, they think she's absolutely crazy. Now, Marcia's trying to prove that she was correct and she did know what was going on when she spotted the woman who sold her the thimble. When she notices this isn't a woman, but it's a mannequin that they turn around who looks exactly like the woman who sold her the thimble. And yes, of course, she freaks out. Now, she finally falls asleep, and when she awakens, she finds that the store is closed and she's pretty much a prisoner inside. She wanders in the dark, and let me tell you, there's a lot of silence in this part of the episode. No real dialogue going on. There's a lot of focus on her feet, her walking around, her panicked look. It's kind of creepy being in a department store on your own with no one there. Now, she hears all these voices speaking to her from the mannequins, so she begins to become a little bit haunted and very terrified. She backs into this elevator, and it takes her up again to the 9th floor. Now, all these mannequins are there this time, and one by one they come to life. That is such a creepy scene because they really are mannequins. They really use for the filming real mannequins, but then they were able to get exact mannequins that were the likeness of the actor. So when they come alive, it is really creepy. It looks very, very real. Now, under all these mannequins asking her and talking to her, Marcia remembers that she, in fact, is a mannequin herself. Now, each of these mannequins are allowed on a rotation of a monthly basis. They can become human and they can go out and enjoy life, but well, she went over that month-long timeline, and so they're a little upset at her. Well, she resigns and says, well, I have to go back. I have to become a mannequin again. She apologizes and she becomes her original mannequin self, which, let me tell you, is extremely creepy because it looks just like Anne Francis. You would think that it was her standing still, but no, it is a true mannequin, and I've said mannequin so many times, and that's not an accident. Their biggest challenge being 1960, they needed to make and construct mannequins that would look exactly, I'm telling you, exactly like the actors that would later replace them in the scenes. They would have to be recognizable as mannequins, so they even thought about the idea of freezing the actor, or even kind of taking a still of the actor, kind of like putting a photo up there to make it look like they're frozen. But they didn't like that because of the light and the shadows. It looked real. It looked like a person standing still, and they didn't want that. They wanted real mannequins. Now, the people on the cast and crew were fairly worried that this episode will fall flat on its face if the models weren't really good. So what they did was get William Tuttle and his assistant Charles Schramm, who made molds of the faces of the three principal actors, Anne Francis, Elizabeth Allen, and John Conwell. From these, they took duplicate heads that were cast in plaster and painted them with different acrylics. Now, the heads were then affixed to the mannequin bodies, and with that, they had the amazing props that they needed for this episode. As I mentioned, Anne Francis's performance was simply superb, but also think about they needed a good setting. Where would they film this? Well, they were fortunate enough to get a truly enormous set. They inherited this set from some feature picture which had a big newspaper office, so they converted it into a big department store, and it gave that sense of depth and space that they really needed. They were able to get these really long shots of the silhouetted figures, close-ups of Anne Francis's feet as she was walking in the aisles, shadows. It just all worked perfectly, and you don't really think about it until you watch the episode, but it gave you this nervousness, this feeling of being stalked yourself, and it made the episode so successful. When Anne Francis was cast, she just wasn't cast because of her looks or just the fact that she was a woman. She was cast because she was so good, and let me tell you, she was perfectly cast. In the comments down below, let me know what you thought of this episode. When you saw it, did it surprise you? Is it one of your favorites, or do you absolutely hate it? Let me know your thoughts. When the episode was actually playing, how was the pacing for you? Did it build up well? Did Rod Serling really create and write a fantastic script? I want to hear all your thoughts down below. I had some amazing responses. And again, let me know if you want to see more Twilight Zone. We're coming up to the holiday season, and I'm going to have some surprises for you. We'll see you next time, and don't forget, be hopeful. Thank you to everyone for the support, especially my Diamond tier patrons: Citizen Kane359, David D, Greg S, Kevin K, Ricky, Sally N, Ulysses the P, and Vito L. If you want to join the Patreon family, links are in the description. Thank you.